Why?
Okay, Rebbe, you're
still
on.
in this.
What?
Are you still arguing about Trump and
Rashi's
Obama?
boy.
No,
Let's
I
read it.
wait a minute.
ויאמר השם אל משה בוא אל פרעה כי אני הכבדתי את ליבו ואת לב עבדיו למען שישים עושיים עדה בקרבו.
Hashem said to Moshe, Boy El Paro, enter to Paro, not come to Paro, enter to Paro. Ki ani yichbadeti es libo, because I have hardened his heart, or more like hardened his resolve, I would say, rather than his heart.
That would be precisely the idea that you wouldn't go, you wouldn't want to go if you were too hard. No.
So hardened his heart, because when we say somebody's hard-hearted, generally
They're not going to
indicates
move.
cruelty. Yeah, no, but it's more than that, it's cruelty. Like somebody's hard-hearted is cruel, he's not going to try to think, but it doesn't mean he's stubborn. Where here the idea of Chvadli Liba means he was stubborn. Right? Okay?
It makes so much more sense to me.
Did
Harden your heart is cruel. It's like,
Right.
it just opened up a whole window for me.
Okay?
Thank you.
It means I've
Cruel.
strengthened his resolve. That's why I've hardened his resolve. But he's not, the point is here, it wasn't he was cruel. That's the point, he was stubborn. The heart of his servant, the man, in order, shisi, to place these signs of mine, Bakirba, in his midst. Okay.
What's the Hebrew word for stubborn? I'm sorry.
It's Akshan.
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 But it's not here. No, Yichbaditi means I made his heart heavy. That's what it literally means. But it means a person's heart, in this expression in Lashon HaKodesh, in Hebrew, means his power to make a decision. Right? The person's heart can go either way. Right? And when you made somebody's heart heavy, you have Kodesh Baruch Hu has stopped him, prevented him from be in control of his own decision making. Means that Kodesh Baruch Hu's dictated already what the decision he's going to make. That's the idea over here.
Right. In other words, he may not be acting in his own best interest.
Right. But he's not acting with his own free will, that's for sure.
And not his free will either.
Okay? Okay, let's see Rashi.
ויאמר השם אל משה בוא אל פרעה
Which means enter to Paro, the Yisrael boy, and warn him.
שישי שמי
See me. She'oshis ani. Okay, now this is an example of what you call in grammar called a what's it called? Gerund form, which means
Usually has an ing. Gerunds always have an ing.
so it means my placing.
Right.
Okay, that's what it means. That's really what it means.
Right.
In order that in order for my placing of my signs, these signs of mine in his midst. The man, in order, shisi, right? My placing these signs of mine is it. That's what it means literally. But it means in this sense, in order that I may place these signs of mine, I make it. So when you say somebody, give an example of this, my placing means that I may place. And you can express that in a noun with a possessive form, that's the gerund form. Gerund form looks like a noun with a possessive pronoun. My doing this, right? My doing, but it really means I will do. Has the same sense as I will do. That's what Rashi says. She see, so now Rashi puts it in a different form because the two similar verbs with similar meaning. The one is shos, right, which is the word over here. It says, "Velo shos liboy gam lezois." We had in last week's parsha. Was it last week's parsha? Was it coming up here? It's actually coming up.
Right at the beginning. The first couple of sentences.
פרשת בו
think still an Aleph. Ten one.
Thank you.
Right, it was the last week's parasha, I think it was. It says, Shos liboy gamazos, means he didn't place his heart. You have in Hebrew, you have two words to mean and have the meaning of place. So, la sim, right? Sim, and la shut, I don't know how you say, la shus, whatever, la shut, means to place as well. So here it's used. Mashisi means in order that I may place. That's what Rashi says. Shis ani, that I may place these signs of mine in his midst. Okay. Pasuk base. Shlomo, please.
ולמען תספר באזני בנך ובן בנך את אשר התהללתי במצרים ואת אותותי אשר שמתי בה וידעתם כי אני השם. Okay, Ramon, in order to tell or relate,
in order that you shall tell, yes, you shall relate.
Tell, ba'aznai, in the ears of your son and your son's son,
Right.
and that concerning my act.
No, so Rashi can explain. No, Rashi can explain differently.
Right.
That I made a mockery of Mitzrayim.
Allah he cursed.
No, that would be in Aleph. But Rashi's going to point out. You think la'alel sometimes means to do something.
Well, that's what it says in the art school, I think. In morning service, after Baruch Shamar, we have the
Aniloisov. Aniloisov, right? Means his actions, his deeds. Correct. Okay? It's a similar word over here. Right? But Rashi's going to point it out.
Okay. So we'll say my actions in Mitzrayim.
But no, in this sense it doesn't mean actions.
Oh.
Okay, right? It's a shaysalauti mitzrayim, that which
As in a mockery,
right?
In Mitzrayim, and my signs that I put amongst them,
Against it, right?
and you will, and they will know that I am. Oh, and you will know that I am Hashem.
Before the class, so it's still hot.
Oh, great.
Okay? Vidatem Kanishim, you will know that I am Hashem. Okay. So let's translate. In order that you should tell over literally in the ears of your children and grandchildren that which I made a mockery of.
Okay, that says I made a mockery.
And the signs.
Sechakti kimo hit alalat
Please allowed be.
Okay, so shechakti.
Sichakti means I played. Literally means that allowed me that I played with the Egyptians. Which means I made a mockery of them. Right, made a mockery of them. K'moi ki is allowed be.
Like mockery.
Who said that? Ki is allowed be. Bilam said that to his ass, to his donkey.
That you made a mockery out of me.
Right, because
you kept on running into walls.
Running walls and not following, right, being obstinate. Right, not heading, not continuing on the way.
Okay. Hello, Ka'asher hit Aleo for him. Ha'amur in Mitzrayim. Le'eno.
No. Hello, Ka'asher. Elo behem homo Mitzrayim.
Le'eno.
I'm not sure where this pasuk is.
30 D.
Wait, what's it?
Lama.
No. Be'eno Loshen. That's something else. One second. Hello, Ka'asher his Elo behem, which is said regarding Mitzrayim, means that he. Not sure where this pasuk is.
To be hoped that when he made a mockery
of them. Right. So I think it's French Asher. Right? Does he quote where the pasuk is? This pasuk, Matt. Where's this pasuk? Halo kasher his olo bohem. You have in the Rashi?
I'm lost.
You got it in the Rashi there, don't you?
I can't see it.
No.
What do you-
It's right near the beginning.
Okay, what are you asking me? I don't understand what you're
Rashi on
asking me.
verse 2.
What's
Right.
that about? Numbers 22, 29.
Yes, the next one. Halo kasher his
Mock
olo
me,
bohem.
when he had mocked me, it's Samuel 6:6.
Ah. Maybe that's it, Samuel 6:6. Okay.
Samuel 1,
Six,
well, Samuel 1:6.
1:6. Okay.
When
Anyway,
did he mock him?
so
He
it's-
mocked Samuel.
So it says that
Who mocked Samuel?
I don't know.
that the one who says in Mitzrayim that
No, Ha'omo, which is said regarding Mitzrayim.
Oh, I know about Samuel.
Oh,
You
that
know,
is-
should know about Samuel.
Yeah,
When
but
he-
it wasn't there.
There was like saying they wanted a king, wasn't that bit?
I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
says,
Yeah.
he's recounting the history of the Jewish people, and he says that the Kodesh Baruch Hu carried out miracles against the Egyptians, ka'asher his oilo b'hem, just as he made a mockery of them.
in
Oh, okay,
Okay.
then. Oh, right, okay.
Now, 1 second. Rashi said, "Ve'eino loshon poya." Now, let me explain this. Rashi's making a grammar point over here. He says, when this form of verb, asher is alauti, this alauti is a reflexive verb.
reflex.
Mocked me.
They really made a mockery out of themselves.
No, so we're going to have to understand, why is it a reflexive verb? If I mock somebody, why is it reflexive? What am I doing to myself?
Well, if you mock somebody,
No. So
If-
I'm going to make a point of that, yeah? Any other suggestions?
If it's Rabbi Nachman, if you mock somebody else, you're really identifying in them the thing in yourself that you don't like.
ooh,
I'm not going
Oh,
that
big
far.
stuff. Oh.
that is
Yeah.
really,
You're calling yourself out by recognizing a behavior in somebody else that you don't like. It's really what you see in yourself that you don't like. You see it in them.
That's true.
right now. I know, but this is God.
That's a cloud which Chazal
We
said,
gotta
"Kol
take that
ha'poisel v'numo poisel."
Yeah.
Right? Anybody who finds a fault in somebody else, it's most often the fault that he finds in the other person is the fault he
You
has.
recognise it.
Right. That's
Right.
That's a
That's something different.
Kol ha'poisel v'numo
No,
poisel.
it's
so
high
this-
stuff.
So this is reflexive, means that they are making a mockery of themselves. I mean, God didn't mock them really, but He set up a situation that they would make a mockery out of themselves.
But that's difficult because HaKadosh Baruch Hu,
That's
the
interesting.
action, he's doing the reflexive action to himself. Okay, we'll see about that. I'm going to attempt to explain it. I'm not sure my explanation is going to be good, but I'm going to attempt to explain it. But yeah, let's finish up the Rashi over here. Ve'eino loshon poel.
Right. So
It's not an expression of poel, meaning an active form,
an
straight,
active form of a verb.
right, which means a straight thing.
Right.
Uma'alali, it means that they are acting, they're carrying out acts.
They're being caused
As-
to act that way.
Not caused to act, but actually acting that way.
They're acting that way. Okay.
It means, here in the sense would be Eis Asher Hisalal Mitzrayim, means the deeds are carried out against Mitzrayim, as you originally wanted to say. Rashi says that's not the meaning. She'im Kain,
That if so,
Hoyo Loi Lichten, it should have written,
he had to write
right, Hoyo Loi Oilauti, not Hisalal, Oilauti, that's right, that's I not mocked, that's which I carried out.
that which I carried
K'moi Oilel Lomoi, Kasher Oilauto
and
Li.
acted
Asher
for
Oleli.
him.
All these verbs,
Yeah.
right, when you want to express somebody
Hard to say.
carrying out an act against somebody else,
Yeah.
right, you say Olel.
Yeah,
It's
right.
in an act in sort of what they call the kal form. It's direct,
Right.
simple, direct,
I'm acting against
the
something.
active form.
Right.
Okay? Rashi's pointing out here that's not the case over here.
So anyway, what we're saying that the reflexive form changes from act to mockery because it's a stronger form.
What?
It changes that
Yeah,
act,
no, but no,
act,
one
is
second,
a,
so that-
act is a simple form and mockery is the more stringent form.
Yeah,
of
no,
the
but that
verb.
would be a PL, you wouldn't use a reflexive form.
Oh.
So let me explain to you. In Parshas Miketz. When Yaakov, the brothers, they were starving for food. Actually, they weren't actually starving for food yet. They had running out of food. And everybody in the land of Canaan was going down to Egypt to get food. And the brothers didn't go down, right? And then obviously the reason why, because they had to take Binyomin with them. So Yaakov Avinu says to them, Loma tisra'u.
What to say?
Why are you showing yourselves? Literally means tisra'u. Are you having yourselves show?
Bringing attention to you.
So bring pretentious, what?
Attention to yourself.
No, well, that goes to one explanation. The other explanation is, why are you being pretentious, which means pretending to be what you're not. So the Mepharshim explain that if you want to, I guess maybe we would just say, make yourself be seen what you really are not. Meaning, a person can be seen what he really is, but if a person makes himself be seen what he's not really not, so he's creating an imaginative picture, a pretensive picture.
So what, in connection with...
That you use a reflexive form.
What would connection with
So
what?
over here, right, so over here as well, here Akash Baruch Hu is carrying action against them, but
it was designed
not,
to...
one second, I just want to just trying to think how to best put it. Meaning, Akash Baruch Hu was pretending, shall we say. What does it mean when somebody makes a mockery of somebody else? Means he
sets up a stage.
He sets up
He
a
sets
stage.
a situation where that person will act out in a way that will embarrass him.
Himself, right?
Right, but he won't realize it until
Yeah,
afterwards.
well, no, but I'm saying is, but it's not necessarily. Let's say, I'll give an example. You make somebody slip on a banana skin, right? You don't really want him to hurt himself. You don't really want to just...
You just want to make an announcement.
Right, you want him to be embarrassed, right?
Right.
So here too as well, when the Akash Baruch Hu sent the plagues, to a certain extent, obviously there was an extent that the Akash Baruch Hu wanted the Egyptians to suffer. But the idea over here, if somebody makes a mockery of somebody else, he wants to think that the person is in a worse situation than what he really is.
Okay.
Okay? To a certain extent. I'm going to have to work this through exactly. Maybe my way I've expressed it is not 100%. But that's why it's acting against somebody but not really acting. It's a pretend act.
Right. They don't realize
That's why you use
they
this
are
form.
doing an act, but the act was set up by somebody else in order that everybody should laugh at them.
Well, it's
But they don't realize it.
It's not their real action, shall we say? It's a set up action. It's a pretend action on them because it's really been set up for them.
Right, right.
two.
But they don't think.
They obviously don't realize. They think it's real, right? I'll go on it. That's why you use a
It
reflexive
kind of happens
form.
all the time. It's called entrapment, making you look dumb.
Okay, but that's what he was doing. Akash Baruch Hu was making a mockery of them. Okay?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Still
You're
not clear.
using the same verb. It means Akash Baruch Hu is acting against them.
Acting against...
Against them. Akash Baruch Hu is acting against them, but not in a way that the action itself is a true action. The action is merely an action to make a mockery of them.
that
It's a pretend action.
they're doing it to themselves.
Right. Okay, anyway, that's why I want to just that's why I use the reflexive form. I'll go on it. Bottom line is, the word hisalalti means I made a mockery of, and if he Akash Baruch Hu had meant to say that which I acted against the Egyptians, he would have said oilalti. And therefore Rashi proves that the word hisalalti doesn't mean to carry out an action, it means to make a mockery of.
Right.
Yes.
Just two things, Ash, for your clarification. You're talking
like
about the Yaakov and his children went to the famine went to Egypt. I didn't understand I didn't catch what you were.
No, so there, the Yaakov Avinu used a term, lomo tisro, which is a reflexive form. So the Mepharshim explained over there, the reflexive form denotes an action which is not a real action, but an action of a pretend action, which is in...
So what was the story then about?
Oh, what was the story there? They technically did not need food right now. But Yaakov Avinu is telling them, why do you make out as if you're really rich and whatever, and you'll never need to go down to Egypt and you never need food, right? When you do need food, why are you making yourselves out as if you're rich people, as if you don't need food, B'chlal? Everybody's going down to Egypt. You should also go down to Egypt to get food.
The other thing is, it tells you. Did it tell you a mitzvah here? The mitzvah of is that what it says? To
Sapeh.
Yeah, that's the mitzvah. Yeah.
I was nearly going to forget this mention. This is actually I mentioned in last year's newsletter, and I tell this over every Seder night. It's a meridic thing over here. Let me first point out an interesting point, which a number of Mefarshim dwell on. There are 10 plagues. The Kodesh Baruch Hu sent 10 plagues against the Egyptians. 7 are in last week's parasha, and 3 are in this week's parasha. Why does the Torah split them up? Why doesn't it put all 10 in one parasha?
Because the first 7, Pharaoh did it with Kavanah, and the last 3, he didn't.
Oh, so one second.
He was going to drag along.
No, so you're making a good point.
Stubborn of heart.
Right.
Screwed up.
Every time in the first 7 plagues, Pharaoh himself, with the exception of the 6th plague, for all the other, even the 7th plague, it says that Pharaoh himself strengthened his resolve. He was stubborn. Pharaoh himself was stubborn. Kodesh Baruch Hu didn't enforce upon him his stubbornness. Right? Here, it's his words that Kodesh Baruch Hu says, "For I have hichbadeti es liboy," made his heart heavy, meaning
Like liver.
right. Means I have made him stubborn. It means I have taken away his free will.
Right.
And so technically, the question is, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu listen? If already Pharaoh's at breaking point, so fine. Pharaoh's willing to let the Jewish people go. Let the Jewish people go. Take the Jewish people out of the Egypt right now. Why wait? Why bring them another 3 plagues?
Got Rick to sugar.
So, to
So
make a
that's
mockery
its
out of this, it's the Jewish people be, one piece.
So that's an interesting point as follows. The Maisa, as we know, there's 4 lashonis of 4 expressions of redemption. Okay? The Mefarshim, number of Mefarshim, especially the Maharal, right, go with this idea, is that the 4 expressions of redemption weren't just 4 expressions, there were 4 stages of redemption.
Mm.
What do we need 4 stages for? Because it says, the Maharal says as follows: the Egyptian exile, let's call it, Egyptian exile, there was also 3 stages of Egyptian exile. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told to Avram Avinu, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avram Avinu, your children are going to be in exile. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu expressed it as follows: Yodea Teda, you should be well aware, Ki ger yeh zaracha be'eretz lo lohem. Your descendants are going to be strangers in a land which is not theirs. Va'avodum, and they're going to make them servants, slaves. Ve'inu oisam, and they're going to afflict them. Says the Maharal, in the Egyptian exile, there were these 3 stages. As soon as they came to Egypt, right, they were already in a land that's not theirs. That was 210 years. From the time Yaakov and his sons came down to Egypt till they left, it was 210 years. However, they weren't yet servants there. In the first years when Yaakov was there, and even when Yaakov's sons, till Levi was the last one of Yaakov's sons to die, the Jews weren't enslaved before. They were well respected. Okay? When Levi died, things started to change. And that's the whole thing that Paro already said, Hava nischak maloi, let's deal wisely with them, and we're going to make them into slaves. That occurred, I think it was about 93, 94 years after they came to Egypt. Okay? Which was 94 years, 116 years before they left Egypt. Then those 116 years, the Jews were in a status of slaves. However, they weren't yet subject to hard labor. That came, the 3rd stage came when Miriam was born. That's why she was called Miriam, because of her bitterness. As it says, "Vayamoru es chayim," they embittered their lives. That's when it started, the avodah kosher, the hard labor, the back-breaking labor started 86 years before they left Egypt. That's when the time Miriam was born, and she was 86 when they left Egypt. So we're 3 stages of exile. First, strangers. Secondly, servants. And third, hard labor. Conversely, when the Jews left Egypt, right, it was also with 3 stages. Meaning, initially, and the Maral says this had already happened as soon as the plague started, the hard labor stopped. Whereas the Egyptians already didn't have the audacity to force the Jewish people with hard labor. They got nothing to drink, they have no water, everything's blood, frogs, everything. The place is going crazy. So
already in the same boat.
Says the now, interesting. The Maral says somewhere during the plagues, it doesn't specify when. Already then they stopped being servants. However, the Netziv says, and he proves that from Sukkim, that when Makas Borod, which was the last of the first 7 plagues, the last plague mentioned in last week's parsha, after that the Jews weren't slaves anymore. Okay? Now, technically, it's an interesting point. What could the Egyptians be blamed for? For enforcing hard labor? Right, but they enforced the hard labor. For making the Jews servants? They're to blame for that as well. But the fact that Jews were foreigners in a foreign land, the Jews came by themselves.
They were invited.
Right? So the Pharaoh wasn't responsible for that. So now, in order to, after these initial 2 stages stopped, no more hard labor, no more servants. 1 second. So Pharaoh is willing to let the Jews go now, right? He's saying, whatever, there are no more servants.
But they didn't leave.
1 second. So now Kodesh Baruch is saying, so that's where Parshas Bo comes in. Parshas Va'era is the 7 plagues which was purely punishment for the Egyptians.
Right.
In order to get them to release the Jews. Now, after the 7th plague, they technically were ready to, Pharaoh was ready to release the Jews. Now Kodesh Baruch Hu says, no. Why am I now going to keep the Jews there, and I'm going to bring another 3 plagues upon the Egyptians? What is that purpose? Not to get Pharaoh to release them, because he's already at that stage. I'm now going to harden this up. Why? And this is what we see. The purpose now is for you, the Jewish people, that you should be able to tell over to your children what amazing miracles Hashem did for you in Egypt. Right? And what's the purpose of that? You, the Jewish people, the whole purpose of these last 3 plagues is not for the Egyptians to punish the Egyptians. The purpose is that you should realize, you Jewish people, that I am Hashem. And that's the whole purpose of Seder night. Now, last year's newsletter, now this is what I mentioned on Seder night, it's a very interesting point over here. Kodesh Baruch was saying to Moshe, I want you to go to Pharaoh, and I've hardened his heart, and I'm now going to bring another 3 plagues upon them. What's the purpose of that? Now, what would you have said? The Pasuk tells you 2 things. In order you should tell over to your children, and that you should know that I am Hashem. What would you think the order should be? You should know that I am Hashem, and then afterwards, besides that, tell over to your children.
I would think so.
Right, so why is the Pasuk put in a different order? That's what first puts first. In order you should tell over to your children, and that you should know that I am Hashem.
Because the children won't be slaves anymore, and they will have a better understanding of...
On the contrary, if they never experienced, they never had the Egyptian experience, it would be harder for them.
Well...
The Torah is telling us a Meridika lesson in education and in how we are maintain our emunah. Let's give an example. Somebody has a miracle happen to him, okay, and he doesn't tell a soul. Doesn't tell a soul about it. Doesn't tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
With time, the effect of the miracle on him, that brought him closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right, is going to wane. It's not going to last, right? However, if a person tells you, you know what happened to me? Wow, he tells this story to everybody. Every time he tells the story, that invigorates and strengthens his emunah, strengthens his faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's what the Torah is telling us. I'm telling you, I want you to. The purpose of me bringing these plagues upon the Egyptians is you Jewish people, afterwards, when you leave here, every Seder night you're going to gather the family around and say, kids, you know what happened to me? I'm telling you over what tremendous miracles God did for me in Egypt. And every you're going to tell it over. That's going to strengthen your iman. You will realize that I am Hashem.
But isn't the danger that you keep thinking about the 7 plagues, not the other 3, the new 3 that are going to come up?
Yeah.
So the way of putting it, maybe you should just say, you know, come across Rashi, or maybe somebody else say, oh well, in the Haggadah, or it tells you, or the mitzvah is to tell and relate that the
everything.
Right. But it doesn't say. Maybe it should come on late at the end of the Sedra. What you're just saying. I'm just not criticising.
No,
how did it come over the 10? You're just saying, 7.
No, so one second, let me explain something.
No, but it's not mentioned here. We haven't come to the 3 new plagues yet.
I know that. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not telling Moshe, I'm now giving you a commandment to tell over to your children. But I'm saying, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is explaining, why am I now adding these plagues besides what I already think, is in order that you should tell them over to your children. That's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling Moshe. He's not giving him the mitzvah. The mitzvah we come at the end of the parasha. It says that if tomorrow your children ask you what's all these things we're doing here on Seder night, eating matzah, eating korban pesach, eating moror, all these things, and then you say, oh yeah, we got to tell you got to tell over to your children the whole story. So that's where the mitzvah is given for actually eating. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is explaining, why am I now telling you? Even though Paro is really at the point where he's willing to let the Jewish people go, I'm purposely holding him back from letting the Jewish people go, because I want to bring them more plagues upon them in order that you Jewish people should realize that I am Hashem. Okay. Matt, Pasuk Gimel.
Vayavo Moshe v'Aharon el Paro vayomeru elav ko amar Hashem Elohei ha'ivrim ad Masai me'anta le'anos mipanai shalach ami via avduni. Duni.
The emphasis on the Dalet. We are
Duni.
Okay. Let's see the Rashi.
Okay, translate?
Yeah, first translate.
Okay. Moses and Aaron came to Pharaoh.
Yeah, by the way, more accurately, the Whites use a singular form. It should say, Vayovoyu Moshe v'Aaron.
Came as 1.
No, so you often find that a number of places, especially in these parashas, Moshe was the main one. So I translate it, Moshe came or entered with Aaron. Okay, Moshe entered with Aaron to Paro.
And he said to him,
and they said to him, yeah.
So said Hashem, God of the Hebrews, until when will you refuse to be humbled before me? Send out my people that they may serve
Release
me.
my people, right? Shalachani. Release my people, v'yavduni, that they may serve me.
Okay.
So why do you say you criticised the translation? No, you said, why did you say it came as one single person? And then you go on to say, and they spoke to, so they're not speaking to...
I want you to answer that question yourself. Yaakov.
Well, they have the same thoughts, same idea.
No, yeah, but one second. How did it go that Moshe and Aaron spoke to Paro? Do you remember the beginning of last week's parasha?
Was he introduced to his...
First, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent Moshe to Paro. Yeah. And then Moshe Rabbeinu could explain, listen, I went once and Paro didn't listen to me and I've got a speech impediment. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, okay, you go along, you're going to say initially what I told you to say, and Aaron's going to be your spokesman. So it came out that both of them spoke to Paro. Right? So that's why it says, Vayomer, it says that Moshe initially came with Aaron to Paro, and both of them says, Vayomer, and they said to him. Okay? Now, Rashi says, La'anois.
Okay, to be humbled. This is to be understood
as Targum.
Kasar Gumo, as Targum Onkelos renders it. La'is Kana'a, to be humbled.
Right.
Vahu magizras ani.
Zeras oni, right. It comes from the root, right? The same root as the word oni, poor man.
Poor.
So poor man is humble.
Ah, okay. Me'anta lios ani v'shafal mipanai.
You are,
God is saying to Pharaoh, you have refused to become poor and lowly before me.
right. Yeah, it's really actually in this sense oni means poor even in the sense of humble. Right. Refuse to be humbled yourself. Okay, I think it's up to 120 now. We have to stop now.
Oh.